So something that we've learned from your class is that, if you're having a hard time, you're sort of in your own head thinking about, oh, things are so hard, or your child is doing the same thing, that one of the most helpful things to do is get outside of yourself and do something kind for another person. How can we get our children to do that without feeling like we're invalidating what they're saying, right? Because if they're telling us what a hard day they are having and we're kind of like, okay, well, why don't you go do something? What's the balance there?
For any piece of advice with our kids, and this will come up again and again in this course, I think we want to get away from telling them. Turns out telling them just doesn't work. Telling them makes them feel kind of nagged at, like they should do it, right? And it's just like kind of counterproductive, which is frustrating because the easiest way, we have a lot of knowledge and we want to tell them these things, right? There's a really lovely book by the psychologist David Yeager called 10 to 27 and it's from ages 10 to 27. The question is like, how do you motivate kids and maybe young adults from age 10 to 27? And what he finds is that telling just doesn't work. And it doesn't work for two reasons. One is that, kids don't like it when we get in this mode of like, oh, your frontal lobes aren't done yet. I'm just going to tell you, I'm just going to make you, show you how to do it and constrain you. They don't like that. But they also don't like the your frontal lobes aren't done yet. You don't know how to do it. Let me just take care. Let me helicopter you, take care of that for you. None of that feels good. What kids want to feel is like respective and agentive, right? They want to know that they kind of have their own independence, their own autonomy. Like we feel that too. Think of the last time your spouse told you to do something. Like what was your instant reaction? It wasn't like, oh, I should do that because he's got really great advice. It was like, I ain't doing, anything but, right? And because we as adults feel that autonomy too, but it's hard for us to reflect on that's what a young adult, a teenager wants. And Yeager goes through why that is. This is an evolutionary moment where they're trying to assert their independence. They're trying to learn stuff. That's what kind of evolution built them for as adolescents. But what that means is as soon as you tell them, it just doesn't work. And so Yeager comes up with these great strategies of other ways to do it, ways to kind of tell without telling. And he talks a lot about what he calls collaborative troubleshooting, which is kind of where you want to spark thought, but you do it in a way where you kind of treat the other person as like a full agent that you're kind of helping with. If your kid's having a bad day and you want to get to helping people, right? You might be I'm curious, I've been having the same kind of day as you, right? And it's just been really tough. And I know you sometimes pop out of it even faster than I do. So what are some strategies that you use to do that? How is that different? That's you're having a agentive conversation with this other person. You're sharing your vulnerabilities, right? I don't know how to do it. Can you help me kind of figure it out? But what you're also doing is sort of sparking thought. You're getting them to think about, well, my strategies are da 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 da. I assume you're the smartest person and you've thought through this because you're facing this challenge. Help me understand how you think through this. And what you might do is have them generate ideas. And then in that conversation, you'd be like, oh, that's cool. Sometimes you play video games. I get it. That's a smart strategy because it kind of just gets you out of it. Whatever they say, it's a smart strategy because it kind of gets you out of the moment. I see why you would do that. Or, oh, you call a friend or you just go for a while. Oh, that's good. I hadn't thought about that. I mean, one I think of sometimes is try to, I heard this advice about do something nice for somebody else. Is that something you think about? Not and you should think about that too, because it's really good advice. Is that something you do that too or something? It's curiosity, it's asking questions, it's assuming they know what they're doing. And it's so powerful. If you just think of, again, if your spouse or your boss talked to you that way, how much easier it would be. It's the same kind of thing you're doing for your kids. So I think it's you do want to point it out to them, but the telling doesn't work. The kind of collaborative troubleshooting works. A different thing that works well is modeling. We don't learn from people telling us stuff. We learn from watching and soaking in via behavioral contagion what other people are doing. So I think the more they see you do that, even if you articulate it your mom had a crummy day and the way I get through a crummy day is I check in with my friends, right? If they just see you modeling that, it has no implication for them. You're just articulating what you do. That can also be really powerful too. So avoid the telling, go with more collaborative troubleshooting and maybe more modeling. That'll be really effective.